So now we will be discussing about something called as text functions. Now you all must be knowing that the data could not be only in numbers or into numeric formats. The data could also be possibly into the textual representations. So what are certain text related functions which will help us to analyze and understand the text related operations? That is what we are going to understand over here. So if I talk upon text functions, the first function which we will be looking further is concatenation. Now the meaning of concatenation means connecting things together. Now what is the meaning of connecting? Connecting means bringing things together. Now there is a function known as concatenation for the same, but the same task could be done with the AND operator. If you can see on the screen, it helps us to combine multiple text in a single value as such. And in this concatenation, if you can see example, it will take data from text A and text B, and it will help us to combine them and show one such result set. So that's what we are going to see with an example over here. So if I show you, this is a data which I have with respect to the employee IDs, employee names, their email address, the job title, as well as if, let's say if you have salary details, and then we will be understanding a function known as concatenation. Now, what is concatenation? As I said, it is bringing things together. So two textual values will be brought together. How? Let's see. First, let's see concatenation with the help of AND as a symbol, and then let's try to understand with the help of a function as such. So if I take equals to and I want to concat, let's say the employee name. The employee name is what I'm trying to concat over here with respect to plus. With respect to, I want to generate an email ID of that employee. So I can use plus, but possibly we don't use plus in terms of the textual operations. As I said, we use a symbol in terms of connecting two texts together or bringing two texts together with the help of AND symbol. So I'm writing AND over here. So taking that text and what? Now I can pass in any string if I required, or I can pass in any cell value or text value. So here I want to concat it with the help of @gmail.com. Let's say I have concatenated in that way. Now I cannot simply give this. It's not possible to simply give this because it will throw me a name error. Why a name error? Because the text or the concatenating part happens between two textual operations which are there. So here I need to give them this way. And if you could see the answer, the first name or the name of the employee has been concatenated with the symbol which is there. This is what we can see. Now, what is the meaning of concatenation? That is bringing things together. Imagine that I had the name of the employee and I want to concatenate the job title with the name. So what I'm going to do is, let me take equals to and let me take the two cell values. Let's say this, and let me write in an AND symbol for the same, and let me take this job title. So I have considered the cell C13 and E13. C13 has the name of the employee and E13 has the job title. So if I want to combine them and show them together, this is how it looks. If you can see, name and job title, they have been connected together, but there is no space which comes along with that. I want that space to be available for my text, or let's say I want to combine them or connect them with respect to a hyphen symbol. So how I would do it? I could possibly do this by adding quotes, hyphen, quotes, and then there an AND symbol. So this is how I am combining the text. And if you can see, the name of the employee hyphen the project manager has been concatenated. So this is how we do, but this approach is a concatenating with the help of a formula. As you know, I am writing the logic over here, but I don't want to write the logic. let my Excel write the logic for the same. So we have a function created for the same known as concatenation. So let me do concat. Concat what? I wanted the name of the employee. So I have considered the name, comma. Now text 2. As I said, whatever is in square bracket, it's not mandatory. So text 2 is like, when I take this cell, it should concat with the title of the employee. That's the project title, the job title, sorry. So here if you see, I got the name and the job title concatenated together. So if I want to combine a hyphen, I have to give a text as hyphen in between them. So if I show, it looks something like this. So this is how I have concatenated or brought two strings together. So this could be possible if you have multiple text elements and you want to combine them and show it in one sets column, you can use the function known as concat. So let me drag it down, and for all the employees, this has been repeated with respect to their name as well as the job title. So this was about the concat function which we had. Now, similar to concat, there are other more functions which will be helpful for us in terms of dealing with the text related data. So if you can see, there is another function known as left and right. Now what is the meaning and what is the use case of this left and right function? When I talk upon left helps us to extract text from the starting of the textual information. And when I talk upon right helps us to extract text from the backward end of the textual information. Now let's try to see how does it looks. So if I talk upon right, now what is the purpose of right? Right will help me to extract data from the backwards, that is towards the right hand side of the textual information. So I write right. So you can see returns a specified number of characters from the end of the text string. So it is taking from the end or the backward side. Let's say I want the last element from this. So I have just selected the cell where the textual information is available, and you can see number of characters is in square brackets. Now what does it mean that number of characters in square bracket? It's not mandatory. So what happens if I don't pass it? So when I don't pass it, it is giving me the last character, that is nothing but R. So by default, the number of characters, which means how many text elements you want to fetch, is set as 1. But what if you want to extract 4 elements from the end? Will you be able to do it? Yes. So you can see that from the end of the text or the end of the text element, we were able to extract 4 such characters. Now, if I want to extract 10, will I be able to? Yes. If I write -1, will I be able to? No, because the number of characters needs to be a positive element over here, because it will count the number of characters from the right hand side or the backward side in order to fetch it and give it for our textual information. So this was about right. Now let's discuss something about left. So what is the purpose of left? As right was fetching the text element from the backward of the text, left is going to fetch the element from the forward end of the textual information. So when I talk upon left, returns a specified number from the start, that is the forward or the beginning of the text string. So I have considered this. Here also you can see the same set of parameters are there. The very first element, what it requires is a text, and the next element is the number of characters, but this also is mentioned in square bracket, which means that it's not mandatory to mention. As we saw in right, when we don't pass a number of characters, it was considering only 1 by default, but we can give if required. So if I consider from here and I want let's say I don't pass anything, so it's going to give me the first character from the beginning of the text or from the start of the text. And if I pass a certain element, let's say 4, it is going to give me first 4 elements or first 4 characters from the beginning of the text. So this was all about the left and right text related operations which we can do on a textual data as such. So this is how it has extracted the data from the right hand side and also from the left hand side of the textual information. So proceeding further, we have another text related operation which is nothing but trim. Now what is the purpose of trim? Trim means trimming. Now what it is trying to trim? It is trying to trim up extra white spaces into my textual information. Now there could be possibly that when I enter some text, there could be unnecessary spaces which could come across into my data, and that makes the textual representation very odd or not so good looking in terms of understanding or in terms of its representation. So if I want to deal with those unnecessary white spaces, I could trim it possibly. Now trim as a function will help me to exclude all the unnecessary white spaces or escape all the unnecessary white spaces which are there into my textual information. So as said that it removes all the text except for a single space between the words. So if there is a single space between the words, that would be kept, but unnecessary extra spaces would be removed. So if I show this with an example over here, you could see that trim as a function is available to me. So, but where could I apply a trim? If you can see the names which I have, yes, there is one space, Here in the first name, I could see one more extra space which is available. Now, here in the another one, you could see that there is unnecessary extra space at the beginning of the text. And here, if you can see, there is unnecessary extra space within the words. So, I want to get rid of all those extra spaces. So, at that particular instance, I will use something called as trim. So, how does a trim work? Here, I'll just write trim. So removes all the spaces from text string except for the single spaces between words. That's what it is trying to justify me. Now if I go and select this text, you could see the difference. This is how it looks initially and this is how it looks now. So it's unnecessary extra space which was there has been removed from my data. So if I drag it down and copy the same below, you can see all the unnecessary spaces. Like for this name, if I do shift and space, you could see for this name there was an unnecessary extra space at the beginning of the text that I don't want. I want to get rid of it. So I have tried to get rid of it with the help of a trim function. So all the unnecessary white spaces has been removed. So this is the purpose of a trim statement or a trim function into my Excel. Now, if I want to talk upon the other functions which are possibly available in terms of text. So there are lots of functions which are available in terms of text such as clean, exact, length, lower, proper, upper, mid and replace. Now let's try to see how does they work. So I have a function known as proper. Now what is the meaning of proper? Proper means converting a data into proper case. Now what is the meaning of a proper case? Let's say I have my name and I have written the first name of the name in small case. Let's say if I write it for an example. So you can see I have written Jagrati and here the first name is in small case, but when I want to show it in a representation, I want the first word of my name to be capitalized and rest all of the words into its small case. So if I want to achieve that kind of logic with respect to my text statement, I'll definitely use something called as proper. So if I show you over an example, so here you can see proper. So proper converts a text into proper case. That is the first letter of each word to uppercase. So each space separated word will have its first words separated with the help of an uppercase. So, and all the other words would be in lowercase. So if I take proper and if I select this and do the same, you can see the first character of my name has been into an uppercase, but rest all of them are in small case. So if I see with my table, that kind of approach I required, where there are certain names where the first letter is upper, but after a space, I want the another letter also to be in the uppercase. So here, if you can see, unnecessary uppercases are between, apart from the second word character. So here you can also see unnecessary uppercases are there within the text. So I want to get rid of it and I want to make it into proper case. Instead of using this cell information, I'll use this cell information which has been trimmed so that the unnecessary white spaces are not there. Why I am using this cell information? Because if I use this, it is just changing my text into proper case, but the white spaces will still be at its place. I don't want that white spaces to be there into my textual information. So what I'll do, I'll take the trim data. So let's say I did proper and I'll select this. And then there is no other value required. You can see the difference, how it was looking initially and how it looks now. So the first letter of each word has been converted into uppercase, and it's not about only this, but if you could see the rest of the text, it has also been converted into proper case. So it makes the data representation better in terms of its understanding. And this is how the proper as a function works for us. So this was all about proper. Now, there is another functions, just a second. So now there are another functions which are possibly available to us. The next one is len. Now what is the meaning of len? Len means the length. Now length of what? Length of text. Let's say I have passed in a name and my name is consisting of 7 letters. So the length of the text would be 7. So what it is doing, the len function is counting out the length of the characters or length of the elements which are there into my text string. So here if I show that len, as you can see, it counts the number of characters in the text string. So len of what? Let's take len of this name. Now len of this name is going to be what? 14. Now it has also counted the white space which was there, because white space or a space or any special character which you mentioned, that is also amongst the character information which is there, and that is also amongst the textual information which is given, and that is also counted as a character. So if I remove, let's say if I take len of this, it would definitely show me what? 16. Why? Because the extra white spaces which were there has been also considered over here. So here you can see there were extra white spaces which were possibly available for us, that has been also counted. So it's better to trim my data and then take the len statement, so unnecessary white spaces would not be considered over here. So that is an approach of len. It's not possibly that only for a textual information this length is possible. Let's say I enter my phone number over here and I want to see how many digits do I enter. So with the help of len statement, I can definitely check that how many digits I have entered. That's a 9-digit number which I have entered. Now if I give a question mark, now if I want to go at the end of the number of characters, I'll press F2 key, that's the function key. So I'll go at the end of the characters and let's say I'll pass in A, B, C, D, E and F. You could see the len changing. Now if I pass in any special characters as such, let's say @ and so on, you could see the length is obviously changing for us. So this is the len statement or the len function which helps us to calculate the length of characters which is available into my text related informations which are there. So show you len of the names. So this is how a len function works. This is how a len function works, and this is how length of the characters would be calculated for the same. Now, proceeding further with the next approach is nothing but clean. Now, what is the meaning of clean? Clean means cleaning. What do I have to clean? With the help of trim, I have obviously tried to clean what? Clean the unnecessary white spaces which are there. But what is there available for me to clean again? It could be something else. It could be something unnecessary characters or unprintable characters which are there. Now, what are unprintable characters? If I show you with an example, there is a function known as char. Now, char will give me some Unicode characters, some ASCII characters which are associated with each number. So, if I show you that char 15, it's like an empty character which is not possibly helpful for me in terms of analysis. Now, I don't want this to be into my text. So if I do char 15 and I do and let's say I pass in my name, or let's say without passing the name, let us take the proper case element. You could see all the names have that unnecessary extra character available at my end. If I do trim, just observe, if I do trim on the same, it's still maintaining that character because it's not an white space. It's an unnecessary character which could occur into my data due to unusual text element interruptions or unusual data entries which had happened. So I don't want that entries to be affecting my analysis. I don't want that such of characters to be a part of my text. So what I will possibly do is I'll try to clean it. Now, how do I clean it? We have an approach of clean. Now, clean helps me to remove all the unnecessary characters which were there. So let me write it, updated value and clean. Let me talk upon a clean function. How I will do? I'll use an approach of what? Clean. So what does clean do? Removes all the non-printable. Now these characters are non-printable characters, not acceptable characters. Sometimes this can give errors to us. So I'm removing all the non-printable characters from this. So I have considered this, and you could see that the part which was there, the character part which was there into my text has been removed. So here this is how it looks, and all the text informations are rid of all the unnecessary non-printable characters which are there into my text. So clean as a function helps me to remove all those unnecessary unprintable characters which are available into the textual information for the better analysis of my data. So this was all about the clean as a function. Now let's proceed further in terms of understanding the next functions which is possible. Now let's proceed further in terms of understanding the next possible function which is possibly available to us. Now the next function with respect to text is nothing but a lowercase. Now what do you think so? What's a lowercase? Now lowercase is something in small alphabets, that is small a to small z. So if I have a textual information, I don't want it in uppercase, I don't want it in lowercase, I want all the text into one particular case. I don't want the proper case to be there. I'll repeat this. So now we will be talking about another textual functions that is nothing but lower. Now what is the purpose of lower as a function? Now lowercase means having the alphabets into small abcd, that is small a to small z. Now why that kind of function is required? imagine that you have a textual information and you want to maintain the case of the data. Maintain the case means I don't want any letter to be in uppercase, I don't want any letter to be in lowercase, or I don't want the proper case to be there. I want all the textual information in a same case format, in same case statement. So at that time, I can consider a lower case at that approach. What does lower will do? Whatever is the textual approach, like you have capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D, then small a, small v, small d. It will lowercase all the textual information which is there. That is, if I show you over here, I have cleaned this text. So if I show you lower, it will take the text and it will make it a lowercase. So there is no uppercase or there is no proper case maintained into the text. All of the textual information follows the same case statement. So it could be possibly there that you are working on some data and they don't want a proper case to be followed. They don't want unnecessary upper and lower case jumbling between the text. They want the textual information to be in one case. At that time, you can use lower text. So that's what we have done in terms of lower. Now, if there are numbers into my textual information, that's fine. Numbers are also a part over here. So numbers can also be there, but numbers cannot be in lowercase or uppercase, or any special characters cannot be in lowercase and uppercase. So they will be as it is. What is happening in terms of lowercase? All the textual information, all the alphabetic information is being converted into a lowercase, that is small alphabetic format. Now, there is something called as upper. As the lowercase was converting all the textual information into a small alphabetic format, what if I want to convert all the textual information into the capitalized or all in the capital alphabetic format, that is capital A to capital Z? Here also I am making the format of the text in one particular format. So for this, I will take help of upper. So similar to lower, there is a function known as upper. So converts all the string related information into uppercase. So it will take this information, and if you could possibly see, there is no proper case maintained. All the information is now into uppercase. So upper and lower as a function in terms of text, I can bring all the textual information in one particular format. It could be all in lowercase or it could be all in uppercase as such. So this was all about textual functions with respect to lower and upper. Now we will be discussing about the next text function, which is nothing but find. Now what is the purpose of find? Find means finding some element into my text. Now what do I want to find from my text? Imagine that there is a textual information and I want to find out that a particular character or a text information is possibly available or not. So for that particular instance, I'll use something called as find. So if I talk upon a find as a function, what it does, it returns the position. Now it will find the particular text and it will give me the position. Means at what particular number or at what particular position the string or the element has been found. So it will find that string with respect to another string. Now find is a case sensitive. Now what does it mean? Let's try to understand that. So when I take find as a function, let's say I have considered my data which is there in proper case and I want a text to be find as R. Now I'll write small r over here. You could see. Now within that text, So now we will see how does a find function work. So over here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to utilize find. Now with respect to find, what do I want to find? The first parameter which is required is nothing but the find text. So what do I want to find? I want to find R. So here you can see I have written R in terms of smaller case. Smaller case in the sense lower case. And within the text, from where do I want to find from this proper element. This is from where I have to find. And here I have given this information that I want to find a small r into my name, which is this. Now you could see r is possibly at two positions. It is firstly at the first position or at the backwards position, which is possibly available. So now when I am trying to search for this, you could see it is giving me 11th position. It is not giving me the first position. Why? Because find is a case sensitive. As we understood that it's case sensitive, what is the meaning of case sensitive? The way you mention the word, the same pattern it will go and search. It will understand that you have mentioned lowercase, so it will search for lowercase. It will understand if you have mentioned uppercase, so it will search for an uppercase statement. So if I would have possibly written R in capital, it's going to give me the number, that is the position of this text in the given textual information which is there. So this is the purpose of find. So find is helping me to find a particular element from the textual elements and return at what position this element is found. But with respect to find, there is one more function which looks very similar to find, known as search. Now, what is the purpose of search? As the name suggests, it is also going to search. Now, find is also finding something, search is also finding something. But what is the major difference between both of them? As find was case sensitive, search is not so case sensitive. Let's try to see how it is. So, if I write search, so returns a number of character at which position a specific character or string is first found, means wherever it is found. Reading left to right, and you can see not case sensitive. Reading left to right means from the beginning till the end of the text. And it has mentioned that it's not case sensitive, which means it will not specifically go if you have written capital R, it is not finding capital R specifically. It is just finding R over there. It could be capital, it could be small. So if I take the help of search, and what is a find text which I want to find? So let's say I write it in small r. And within the text, where does I want this to be searched? I want this to be searched in this proper statement. So it's there. And then start number, end number, I can give from which numbers I want to start this counting or start finding the element. So I can give that. But if I skip, it is by default going to find in the entire text. So you could see here it is giving me 1, but that small r was possibly at the 11th position, which we got with respect to find. But as said, search is not case sensitive, which means it is just finding the element. For it, the specific pattern is not required. But for find, if you are writing capital R, it will search for capital R. If you are writing small r, it will search for small case r. So this is a major difference between find and search. So find is also used to find certain elements and give the position of that element, that where does it occur. Search is also giving me the position. Search is also giving me the index position of that element where it has occurred. But the major difference between them is related to case sensitivity. That one is case sensitive and another is not. So many a times we preferably choose to use find instead of search. Now, this was, so you could see that for certain element it is giving me no value because that element is not found. There is an error where it has not found for us. So that's why there is a value error, because the value has been not found and the index has not written for the same. So here we have understood something related to find and search as a text statement. So it could be possibly there that there is a big textual information given to me and I want to see if a particular element is found in the text or not. So at that particular instance, I can definitely choose find. If I want case sensitivity to be there, I can choose search. If I don't require the case sensitivity to be maintained into my data outcome. So this was find and search, And let's try to use two text function together. Let's say that I want to return only the first name. I want to return only the first name with respect to proper case. If you could see, I have written Rocco Anderson. So that's the name. From that particular name, before the space, that is Rocco, I want to extract. Obviously, I want to start extracting the text from the beginning of the element or from the beginning of the text information. So if I want to start the search or start the fetching operation in terms of the beginning of the text element, I will take help of left. As we have seen, that left function helps me to extract the data from the beginning. So I write left. So here I am writing left as a function, so it helps me. It will take this name, and how many letters is the name? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. You can see there are 5 letters in the first name before the space, so I give the number of characters as 5. And you could see Rocco has been extracted. This is what I required and this is what I expected to give as an outcome. But obviously, for all the names, it would not be 5. For the next name, you can see Hank as a name. It's a 4-letter word. So I cannot write number of characters as 5, because if I write, an unnecessary space would have been considered. If you can see Barney, it's like a 6-letter word, and you can see the text has not been extracted into its proper format. Why? Because I wanted to extract the names before space, but I don't know where does the space lie. So what I could possibly do is over here, that is, I'll try to use left but with respect to either find or search. Now as you know, we have just seen find. Find will help me to find the particular character, particular text information, and at what position does it lie. So if I write left and as a text, let's say from here, I write number of characters. So how many number of characters are there with me? So number of characters. So if you see number of characters which are there. Now I don't know specifically how many number of characters are there with us. So for that instance, I will write something called as search, because it's a space which I am finding. I can write find as well. There is no particular problem as such. So I am writing search. Now what do I want to search? Search is the space which is there. Search from where? Search from this name. So when I simply write this function, you can see I've written this. It is giving me a value as 6. You can press function F9 to get what outcome this function is going to give. I can do Control Z to go back to my operation. So here if you see, the outcome of that particular text which is there or that particular function is what? 6th. So at 6th position, you can see a space as an element is found. So is it true? So let's check. You can see Rocco as 1, R as 1, O as 2, C as 3, C as 4, O as 5, and you can see space has been occurred at the 6th position which is there, and it has extracted correctly. So here when I give and when I enter, you can see Rocco has been extracted 6th position, which means a space is also incorporated with it. I don't want that space to be a part of it. So what I could possibly do is, here when the search has been finding, I'll write -1. So what does -1 will do? 6 means -1, that is 5. So first 5 characters would be there. For the next one, let's say for 5th position there is space. So first 4 characters are named. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So if you could see, an extra white space would be removed at the end. So this was the left and the search used together. So this is how you can use two text functions together. Let's see another example and let's see how does find works for the same. So let's say I'll write left with find. So imagine there is an email address of the employee and I want to search an element before the @ symbol. Obviously before the @ symbol is what I want to search. So where does it lie is I'll write left and I'll take the text element. Let's say this is a text element which is there, comma, and I'll write something called as find. So find, as I said, it will also find the element, it will give the index position, just it's a case sensitive approach. So I'll write @ that this is what I wanted to find where in the same text. If you can see in this name, and I have written. So what would be the possible answer for this? If I see this, what is the answer? 19th. So at the 19th position, this @ is possibly available to us. So if I go and do this, you can see the outcome is having the characters that is correct. That is from Rocco _ Anderson and the number which is mentioned by them. But you could also see that @ is allocated because from the start till the 19th, and 19th was a position where that character was observed. I don't want this character, so as I did earlier, that I'll do -1. And you could see that character or the text element which I wanted to search has been eliminated. That is @ symbol is not there. Now it depends on you if you want to take it into outcome, if you don't want to take it. So this is how we have extracted the element with the help of a find and search. So this was combining multiple text functions together. Now there are few more text functions which we can consider. Let's say if I talk upon mid. Mid is from the middle. Now middle from where? So mid is a function which will help me to give a text, but it does not require only the number of characters, because left and right was like how many elements from the start, how many elements from the left or from the end. Left and right were how many elements from the beginning or from the start of the text, how many elements were there from the end of the text. But here I want this mid means from the middle element. Now what is a middle element? Some value from the start, some value from the end, and I want the middle portion to be extracted. So how I will do? It's a bit lengthy function which is there. So like mid, the text, what is the start number? Let's say the third position, till, let's say, I'll say the end number of characters from the third position, number of characters which are there. So here you can see from the third position till the 10th character is what has been extracted. So mid is going to find out the middle element from the start and the end number of the text index position. This is all about the mid statement. So if you want to search something or find something or extract some text information from the middle of the text, you'll obviously use something called as mid statements. Now, there is replace and substitute. Now if you take replace, so replace, it replaces a part of the text, which means it has an older text. It will take the start number, the number of characters, and the new text. That is, let's say I'll take this older text. I want to start it from the first. I want to go till the 5th number of characters. And what is a new text which I want to give? So new text is like Josh, and this is what I have given. So here you can see it has replaced. Replace means removing the older text and uploading a newer text. But it is asking me a start index position and an end index position, which is there. So replace helps us to replace a particular text element from the start number of characters or for a specified number of characters which are there. So with respect to replace, there is also a function known as substitute. So with respect to replace, there is also a function known as substitute. Now substitute will also do this text. It will also replace an older text with a newer text, but it does not require that start number of characters and end number of characters. It will take the element, let's say this, and I'll just write the name. Let's say I'll write Rocco. I want to replace Rocco with Josh. You could see it is not asking me the start number of characters or end number of characters. It is just asking me what text you want. So give me the text which you want to replace. With what text you want to replace. So here you can see it is substituting an older element with a newer element. So there is something where if we want to replace certain elements or substitute some text elements from another text elements, we will use something called as replace and substitute. So this was all about the text functions which are possibly available to us. This all are helpful for us in terms of understanding how a text related operations work and how text related analysis could be done. Some of them help us to actually make the analysis of the textual information clear in terms of understanding and also in terms of representation as such. So this was all about text functions or text related operations which we can do with the help of several functions which are available into the Excel. But here if you see, there is one more function specifically known as text. What is the purpose of that function? So there is one more function specifically known as text. So text function lets you change the way a number is represented, which means now this function is specifically for the numeric information to better up its representation. So it helps you to represent a number into its specific format by making it more useful in terms of display format or into readable format, giving certain symbols and text related operations which you could possibly do with your number related task. So there is one more function known as text, which is specifically dedicated for representing a number or number related information in terms of its readable manner. So we will see how that will help us to make those analysis. Here if you can see, there are certain numbers available to me. There is 239090.5656. I want to represent it into a particular format, which means I want to give it a dollar symbol. Now everyone knows that formatting is available from here in the home tab. There is a group known as number which possibly allows us for formatting. There is also a shortcut key which is possibly there, which is Ctrl+1. So Ctrl+1, you could see that the formatting cells options are available to us in terms of changing a number into its specific format. So if I want to change a number into its specific format, you could see we can do lots of things over here. There is currency format and so on. But I want to use a text function and do this operation. So here there is a function known as text. Now what does text do? Text converts a value into a specific format which you required. Now what is a specific format which you required? Let's say in this I take this value. Now you could see two parameters are there over here. One is value which you want to format and another is format text. Now with what format you want it to be represented when it is showcased into the output. So now if you could see, now the format which I will give is into quotes because it's a text format which I am trying to give. So I wanted a dollar symbol over here. I wanted 3 numbers. So I've written 3 numbers. I wanted a comma for the same, and I still require 3 more numbers after comma. So this is a format which I have given dot, and I require 2 numbers. So here you can see with the help of hash I have given. So what is the number? 239,090.5656. It will be converted into dollar 239, comma 090 full stop 56. Now 5656. If you can see, I am asking only 2 characters after 56. So the another 56 would not be there, but it will definitely round off. Now what is the meaning of round off? You must be knowing that after decimal, if the value is 5 or greater than 5, it will plus 1, or if it is less than 5, the number will be as it is. So here if you can see, I want 2 decimal values after the particular number. So there are 4. So for the third number, if the value is 5 or greater than 5, it will plus 1. That is, it should not give me 5, 6, it should give me 5, 7. Let's see how does it works. And you could see that the format which I was talking about, that I want to start it with a dollar symbol. I want to give 3 numbers, and after 3 numbers I required a comma, then another 3 numbers, and then there is a full stop, and after the full stop I want 2 values. So it has rounded off my data and showed me this approach. So this is a text related functions which we can do with respect to adding a currency element or a numeric element, or doing rounded off changes into my decimal elements. So with respect to this, there is one more text function which can help us to deal with date related operations. Now as you know, this date format is according to my system format, that it first take the month, then the day, and then there is year. But I want to change it into different formats. So how I can do? First, let me show you how it could possibly do in terms of the formatting option. So if I use Ctrl+1, so it is giving me formatting, and you could see it's a date formatting which has opened. Instead of going into dates, you can see this format or this format or this format. You can see whatever format I selected, the sample outcome is probably available for us, and this is what we are looking for, because I don't want a default format which is there. I want to change or customize the format. So I can select from this, or I can go in custom. In the custom also there are lots of operations available to us. If you can see, there are lots of customized approach given to us. But I don't want this. I want it to be changing into a proper format. So if I remove all the type, you could see it's a Unicode number which is given to us. Now I want to give formats. Now formats for months, formats for days, and formats for years differ. If I just write M, you could see 10, that is a month name which is given for me. Now if let's say the month is January, it will just give me 1. Month is year October, so it is giving me 10. But what if the month was January? With 1 M, it will just give me the value as 1. But if I pass another M, there is no such change into month as October, because it was having a 2-digit element. But what if the month was January? If I pass 2M, it will not show me 1, it will show me 0, 1. So there will be a 0 associated with that month number. So you could see that MM I'm getting 10 because it's in October, it's a 2-digit month number which is there. Now if I pass in one more N, what it is giving me? It is giving me the short form of the month. Now which month is this? October. So you could see that short form of the month is October. So there is one more M which I will possibly give, and you could see that it's a full name of the month. So if I want the full name of the month, would be possibly available to us. Now, will I give another M over here, or will that change my result set? The answer is yes. If you give a 5M statement, it is just giving me the first initial of the month. Now, first initial of the month for October, okay, if it is giving me O, I'll definitely understand if it's in October because there is no such month starting with O. But what if the month was April? If I give 5M, it will show me A in the outcome. But when I'm analyzing, I'll definitely get confused. Is this A April or is this A for the August? Or let's say the month is May. But if I give 5M, it is showing me M. So is it talking about March or is it trying to display something related to May? So that analysis would be challenging bit. So there are 5M in terms of formatting a date in terms of months, but we probably stick to 4M format because it's more readable, more understandable and gives a proper outcome which we require or desire. Now, with respect to October, there is one more format which could be possible. Now, this was all about months. When we want to format the days. So, we have D. Now, if you can see, it's 11th of October. So, obviously, D is giving me 11. But what if it was 2nd of October? So, this D would have been 2. If I give D, so it will be 0, 2. Here it's 11, so it will stay 11. If I give one more D, it will give me the short form of the day on which it was there. And if I pass in one more D, it's giving me the full form of the day. If I give one more D, there is no such change because that's the only approach which is required. Till 4 Ds, it's fine. It will give us the outcome. Now, this was the day format and similarly, we have something for the years. If I give 1Y, you could see the last two initials or last two digits of your year, that is if it's 2024, it's like 24. If it's, but specifically we give YY to make it more readable, more understandable, to give 2-digit elements in the year, the last two elements. Now if I give 3Y, you could see it's showing 2024. 4Y, you can see it's 2024. So for just extracting only the year number, you will write 24, and if you want to extract the whole 4-digit number, you will write YY 4 times. So this are specifically the formats which are required for us, but I don't require this as such, so I'll be sticking to the format which is there, M, D and Y, and I'll try to change it. So I'll consider text function over here, and in that I'll consider my date. Now with respect to this date, what do I require? I require a formatted text. Now what is the format of the text which I require? As we have seen now that we can give a particular format with respect to M, with respect to D and with respect to Y. So let's see how it proceeds. So if I want the day, I write DD. If I write 1D, it's fine for me because it's a 2-digit date which is there. But if it was a 1-digit date, I would probably require DD so that a 0 and the date number is possibly shown to us. So I'm writing DD, and here I can give a hyphen, I can give a space, I can give a comma, whatever I require. So I want this format where DD is extracted and then I want a hyphen to be associated and then I give 3 M's. Now what is the meaning of 3M? 3M means the short form of the month. That is, if it's October, it will show me OCT. If it's April, it will show me APR and so on. So here, if I give this and then there is a hyphen, I pass in 2 Y's. Now 2Y means just the last two digits of my year. So that will be extracted. So here you can see this is a format of the date which we have extracted from the date which was possibly available to us. Now, if you want to give a space between them, you could possibly give it. If you want to insert a comma, you can insert it. So the way you format your text with respect to a text function, in order to that format, the date will be available to you or it will be represented. So here, let's say, as I mentioned, that 5 M's are not so possibly good in terms of a representation for a month. So if I write 5M, you could see that it is showing me O. So O is not required over here. Why? Because O is just giving me the first initial of the month. And it's not a proper representation of the date or the month operations which are there. So let's stick to 4M over here. Now let's talk upon time as an operation. Now, as we saw that date could be formatted according to the format which I require, possibly a time can also be formatted into the format which is available to me or which is required to me. Now, in order to format time, we know that time will be segregated into hours, minutes and seconds. So let's try to see if I give like text and if I take this value. Now this value is consisting of time. So as time and date both are a crucial operations with respect to data, so we have to possibly deal with it carefully. So here I am considering the formatting text. Now here the format which I require is I want H and I want colon and I give M's. Now this M would be possibly the bigger M. I'm trying to give Y because it's the minute related operations. For small m's we have the date related operations. I'll possibly try to give the uppercase M over here. If I want second, I can give the second, which are there. So, and here I'll write AM or PM. So it depends on the time which I have incorporated. If it belongs to the AM time, it will give me AM. If it belongs to PM, it will give me PM. And you could see 3:15 AM. This time was belonging to 3:50 AM. If it was a 24-hour clock cycle, it would have shown me PM if possibly there. Let's say it's 11:30 PM or 23 is a date which I have passed on. So if I show with an example 23, 34 and 00, you could see it is showing me 11:34 PM. So if I change the time as 22:30 and I give this, you could see it is showing us in this format. Now this is not possibly available here, so you can go in general, you can go and you can convert it into time, and with respect to time you could see that it's a PM which is being extracted over here. So this is how we can format a time related operation with the help of text function. Similarly, if you want that decimal into a fraction related approach. Now what's a fraction related approach? Let's try to see. I have this number, let's say this, and I have a fraction. Let's say question mark, fraction, question mark. If I give like this, it's going to show me this value 3.78 is possibly available by which number divided by which number. Let's try to see. 34 divided by 9, so equals to 34 divided by 9, and it's giving us this value 3.777. So if we round it off, it's 3.78. So this number was possibly available with fraction. If we want to extract this fraction, we have extracted it over here. So question mark, fraction, question mark. So we have extracted the fraction related operation over here. So with a number which is possibly available, we can also do this formatting. Now if you could see, this is a phone number which is given to me and I want to give this now +91 according to the country codes which are there. So if I want to give that format with my phone number which is available to me, I'll do equals to text. Obviously, I'll take this value and here the format would be +91. That is, in the beginning I want +91. If I want a hyphen, I can add a hyphen and I just add hashes. 3 hashes are fine. It will take the entire number for us. If you could see that the number which I have passed 9969069,818, you could see that the updated text with respect to the format which was required to me has been converted. So this is how you can convert possibly a phone number into a format which you require or which you want. Now, if you could see, it's a percentage and I want to show in terms of percentage. So 0.7566, it will be 75.7. If I add one decimal, if I add 2, then it's like 66. And if I don't want anything, I could like write 75 or like 75.6, which will be rounded off as 76. So how I can use a text function in order for the percentage part? So I'll take this text and I'll give this value. Now if I do 0 and percentage, if I do 0 and percentage, it is showing me 76%. Now what is the meaning of 76%? First two elements definitely will be a percentage format, and after decimal it would be 75.66, but after decimal I don't want any number, so it is taking it like after decimal. If you see 6 is 5 or greater than 5, so it is a rounding off operation which is happening over here. So if you want one decimal, so you'll write 0.0. You could see that after the percentage, one decimal is being given, that is 75.66, so it will be 75.66, but one decimal is required, so the next element 6 will be rounded off and it will happen 7 for us. So here if you can see 75.7%, that has been extracted. Now if you just want certain zeros to be incorporated with a number, how you could do is, the text as a function, I'll take this value and here I'll just simply write 8 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what will happen over here? 1, 2, 3, 4 will be at the last. The number which I have passed will be at the end. And before that there will be a 0 associated. So here you can see 4 zeros initially and rest are the 4 numbers which are there with us. So this is how text as a particular function which is possibly available to us in terms of formattings. Now these formattings are possibly available to us with respect to the numeric information in order to give a proper and a better representation of my numeric data. So this is how a text related function works, and this is how we can use for our analysis or for our formatting if we want to format numbers and convert it into a particular representation. So this was all about text function and how we can use it in terms of a real world scenario.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel and comment on the concept you want to learn next.